Hello, everyone, and welcome to another thrilling actual play for Virtual HorrorCon here, Virtual HorrorCon 2021, with a live stream actual play of They Came from Beyond the Grave, a very comedic horror blended game from Onyx Path. Before we get started, I would like to thank all of you for watching. And thank you for participating in the convention. I'm hoping you're catching a lot of insightful panels, seeing a lot of fun actual plays. I saw that there was one where there's a bunch of mice earlier that were going on a fantasy adventure. So that seems like I'm going to be able to watch that later when I'm not doing this. There's a lot of great things in store. There's private workshops. There's wonderful people like our very own Stephanie Allen here of Charm Person Games that are running games for you this weekend that you were able to play in games from professional game masters. And the money that for your tickets are going to pay them as well as contributing to charities that we are supporting here. So, if you go ahead and just check this link right here, and you see the bar below all of us, we are having proceeds and benefits go to Black Girls Code as well as Blind Cat Rescue. Two very, very wonderful foundations, charitable organizations that are doing a lot of great work out there and helping the respective sectors that they're in. We have more information on virtualhorrorcon.com that you can check out for more information there, as well as links to their websites below. And another thing, be sure to check out our vendor hall where we have wonderful sponsors like DriveThruRPG, Astral Tabletop, Savage Sparrow, Vajra Tabletop, and a bunch of others, as well as like here, Carrion Studios, all that fantastic stuff. Now that I got all that stuff out of the way, Charm Person Games as well. How could I forget Charm Person Games? You're sitting right here. But now that I've got all of that out of the way, I would like to introduce my lovely cast of characters for this evening's, afternoons for a lot of us, entertainment. Starting, let's go in the round. Can we please have Stephanie go first?
Hi, my name is Stephanie Allen. I am one half of Charm Person Games. We are a queer women-owned professional game master service for hire based out of Baltimore. You can find us at charmpersongames.com, and you can see me here on Carrion Comfort, over at Gehenna Gaming on Mondays, on a lot of places doing a lot of different games.
All over the place, wearing many hats all around. All right, and next, Xander.
Yes, hello, I'm Xander Jeanneret. You may know me as X from LA by Night, but I'm also role-playing all over the internet in many places. You can follow me at Xanderific on Twitter with 2 R's and 1 F, and that's my main hub. I also stream from my personal channel here on Twitch with the same name, and I think I'm doing a show almost every day of the week now, so wee!
Busy. A lot of us got busy this past year.
Yeah.
All right, and next, Joshua.
Hi everyone, I'm Joshua Deach. I'm a game writer for video games like The Secret World, Age of Conan, and currently an upcoming Lord of the Rings game. I also write for some tabletop games, including Vampire the Masquerade and They Came From.
Excellent. Whenever that NDA runs out there, Joshua, let's talk about Lord of the Rings video games there. I'm very interested.
I'm tied up by so many NDAs.
Yeah, so many NDAs all over the place.
Really secretive.
And last, but most certainly not least, you know them, you love them. I'm glad to say a friend of mine, Shane.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shane Easton. I am an actor and a writer in Los Angeles and a role player. You might know me as Katya from LA by Night. On Friday, I'm going to be guest starring on Eclipse on Josephine McAdams' channel, and I like scented candles, bath bombs, and Shakespeare.
Amazing. Yeah, I've caught some of your Shakespeare TikToks, your Shakesplaining. They're hilarious. If you don't follow Shane on TikTok, I too have learned how to TikTok. I'm one of the youths now, but it's phenomenal. So, Let us immerse ourselves. Imagine yourself, audience. You are in a smoky, dingy, dirty movie theater, whether it be New York City, London, Louisiana, Bangkok, wherever. The lights go down, you have your popcorn and soda with you, and the projector crackles to life. The film reels are turning and spinning, and you see, before your premiere, let's all go to the lobby, get yourself some snacks. Let's go to the lobby, get yourself some snacks. After that, music plays, piping over the grainy speakers, and you see, presented to you by Onyx Path Studios, Blood on the Rails, starring, and it brings up the flashes of our cast here, and with their character names. And with this, you see a tunnel, a snowy tunnel in the Alpines somewhere. And after the cast names come by, a train barrels through Blood on the Rails and everything, screeching down the rails. The camera pans through, and you see car after car, which might be the same car, just changed a little bit. You see our characters. And I would like our characters to one by one describe how you look, what the audience might be seeing. Let's go ahead and let's start with Stephanie.
All right. I am playing the Francesca Donatelli, our mafiosa. I am the hired muscle for another character. And I think she's a giant of a woman. She's like probably around like 5'10", got like shoulders out to here. She's wearing what is definitely a man's suit that has been only slightly altered in order to fit her because her muscles are just that big. She's just like a big ox of a woman. I think her hair is like cut really short and very unfashionably and just kind of like wild and all over the place. Definitely a bit of a like bull in a china shop like feel to her.
Excellent. As we all know, 9-foot tall women are very in right now.
Everyone loves a woman who can destroy them. Everyone.
The camera settles a little bit on Francesca Donatelli, and then you see sitting next to her a man, slightly pudgy, pencil-thin mustache, wearing a very fashionable fedora hat, a fur coat, and a very nice double-lapelled suit, smoking a cigar. That is Mr. Francisco Mortabella. He is the Don of the Mortabella crime family, and also the heir to a very lucrative sausage company. And he's sitting, smoking his cigar, grimacing out the window, trying to keep himself warm in this rickety Alpine Express. The camera pans then across the aisle, and we see Xander.
So I'm playing Hawthorne J. Hawthorne the Fourth, and if you were to look over, you would see a classically handsome man in a button-up and high-waisted pants with a coat over the top, and he's got this briefcase that you know is full of samples of some sort.
Samples for everyone on this train and wherever this train may be going. Scrolling past Hawthorne J. Hawthorne, we then see a woman in a very fine coat and a very fine hat that has a fan that she's waving herself with, even though it's freezing outside, and she's giving just dirty looks to Hawthorne J. Hawthorne, and we see below across the screen, Mona Germain, heiress to the Germain perfume line. Camera scrolls past again, and then we see Joshua.
We see a tall but slightly built man with a simple but fastidious black suit. He's got a waxed beard and mustache, and he's very good, in fact, professional at looking at things pensively. He is Inspector Loop, world-renowned investigator.
Yes, Inspector Loop, world-renowned investigator. Probably the second greatest, if not greatest, detective in the world. And just past Inspector Loop, we see, looking very suspiciously, One man that's wearing a turtleneck, a skull cap, and he has a backpack with gear with him. And that must be Harrison Postlewaite, championship mountain climber from Australia. He takes one look at Inspector Loop, sips from his beer glass, and then stares back out the window. Next, we see Shane.
I am Professor Jennifer Torblatt. I'm wearing a shirt much like the one I have now, a Western shirt, but it has red roses embroidered onto it, and a bolo tie of a tooth. It looks like a tooth that might belong to a wolf or something of that nature. Jennifer is feverishly writing a script, and the camera pans over and you can see the title of what she's writing. And it is, His Feet Were Big, but My Heart Was Bigger, Debunking the Myth of Bigfoot. Because she is a cryptozoologist. However, she believes in science, and mostly she debunks myths. She's not a super believer.
Not a super believer indeed. And across the aisle from Professor Torblatt, we see a very average dressed, just seems like she's enjoying the ride. One woman that's just wearing a hat and some gloves, and she's reading a newspaper. And this is one Yumi Sanada, a woman who's traveling abroad. And we kind of pan a little bit and focus on her newspaper. And it says, "Thrilling yet tragic murder in Istanbul. Who's the suspect? Who's the victim? Who knows?" More details on page 3. The camera pans away from that, and you see, towards the door of the back of this car, Alpine Express in fading gold lettering. The door slides open that's underneath the sign, and you hear wind whipping and whistling as there's snowflakes blown in and ice chunks kind of come in from the tracks of this rickety old train. And you see one man in a sweater vest, a very astute bow tie, and then a fur jacket with mittens, dark complexion, receding hairline, and a cigar in his own mouth. And we see below him Horace Gresh. He is the owner of the Alpine Express. His family once owned a baby food company, and he used that money from selling it to buy the famed Alpine Express because he always loved trains. But he has a very annoyed look on his face. He walks down the aisle and he goes, good to see you all. Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for riding with the Alpine Express. Oh, Professor Torblatt, it's very good to see you. I loved seeing your work on the Flatwoods Monster.
Oh, thank you so much. And how did you find my work? Are you a believer?
Oh, no, I wouldn't touch the stuff with the pole, but my son loves it. He's a big fan.
Thank you.
He keeps moving down the aisle, and he goes, "Oh, why, is that Hawthorne J. Hawthorne?"
Oh, the very same.
He extends his hand, shakes his hand with you very, very sternly, pulls his cigar back, and he goes, "I hope you're not going to try to swindle me out of any money in my very famous casino car."
Oh, well, I would never dream of it. I do have some baby food samples that I would like you to take a look at, but we can do business another time.
We can do business another time. He puts the cigar in his mouth, keeps walking, and he goes, "Do my eyes deceive me? Vafangul, my old friend." And you see Francisco stands up, and he goes, "I tell you, Horace, this is a piece of shit train you have here, my friend. It's not what I expected. It was not what I was promised." And he goes, "Oh, Francisco, you were always a kidder." And he goes to hug Francisco, and Francisco looks at you, Francesca.
Oh, yeah, I'm just stepping right in front of him, just like, don't touch Mr. Motabella. Didn't ask for that.
He immediately stands back and he goes, whoa, of course, I wouldn't dream of, just, I forgot myself. And he goes, Francisco goes, "Do make sure you do not forget yourself again. It will be a mistake that I'm sure you would regret."
I'm gonna crack my knuckles real loudly.
"Thank you, Francesca. And he sits down again. Horace goes, well, I hope you all enjoyed the train. We have a dining car, there's a bar car, there's a casino car. We have tons of cars. And then we have a quick cut to the train outside, and there's about 5 cars on a model train set. So, with all the introductions made way, he makes his way towards the engine of the train, and you have the train to investigate yourself. Inspector Loop, you've been quietly just taking a note of everyone. Could you go ahead and do me a favor real quick, as all great inspectors do, and can you please make me a, let's make this a intellect and empathy roll, please.
One success.
One success. You are quietly taking stock of all these interactions, seeing how this Horace Gresh interacted with everyone. And you notice that Miss Sonetta, who you have gotten her name because you noticed her ticket was sticking out of her bag earlier, is staring at you over her newspaper. She seems to notice you, and she quickly puts it back up over her face.
I will get up and sit next to her.
She turns and looks at you quickly, and she goes, oh, pardon me, sir. And then, like, closes her newspaper and kind of scoots closer to the window, kind of, like, bundles up a little bit more. Can I help you?
I couldn't help notice you noticing me.
Well, it's hard not to notice you, sir.
Well, I am the world's second greatest detective.
Oh, they may say you're the world's second, and she immediately kind of opens up too. She goes, they may say you're the world's second greatest detective, but I tell you, that bully from England has nothing on you. He is just a man that bowls over everyone, telling everybody what they think that they know, and they don't know anything. Why, he's just a regular hog, I'll tell you that much. I've been a big fan of yours, and you see she opens up her bag, and she has newspaper clippings from a lot of your exploits. They kind of pop out a little bit.
I soak all this up because I was very much fishing for this.
She goes, I have all of your greatest exploits. I have the Norwich dog murders. She puts that one back in there. She goes, the Chicago gangland duck shootings goes in there. There's a lot of animal cases that you've worked on. There's the Shanghai ox slayings, and she goes through, and she goes, and finally, your crown, your pride and joy, death on the Amazon. And she holds up one it shows a steamboat that's on the Amazon River, and it shows you standing next to a grumpy man in handcuffs.
Well, that was one of my greatest hits, yes.
So, what tells me, what I want to know is, what is the great Inspector Loop doing on a train like this? Is there a murder afoot? Planned kidnapping? Racketeering?
There is always, and I turn to the camera, a murder afoot.
The camera.
First of all, condolences to your second cousin, who, from what I can tell, suffers alcoholism and a left foot limp.
Go ahead and roll me cunning and enigmas real quick.
All right, let's see. Ooh, I am good at that.
Also, just as this reference, every time that I miss plugging in my phone, I'm like, the BBC Sherlock says I'm an alcoholic now.
That's 2 successes.
2 successes. She stops, she gasps, and she goes, how could you have ever possibly known that?
It's quite simple, really, I say as I give my quip.
Excellent. Do we all decide that fits? All right, then you go ahead. You get a +1 on your next roll, Inspector Loop. Excellent. She turns. She starts talking to you a little bit more. Francisco stands up, Francesca, and he goes, can you please excuse me, Francesca? I am gonna go hit the little Don's room.
I mean, you want I should follow you, like, the
Francesca,
door?
please. There was only 5 cars on this piece of shit train. You can
Yeah, but
probably see me in the bathroom.
I'm trying to do my job.
Look, Francesca, you're a good kid. I loved your father like he was my own brother. It was a shame that I had to plug him in the back of a car. But you're
These
not
things
him.
happen.
These things happen, exactly. You're made, you're family, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Montebello. I appreciate it.
Now, why don't you go enjoy yourself a little bit? I'm gonna read some stories. And he goes and he starts walking towards the bathroom car. He stops by you, Hawthorne J. Hawthorne, and he goes, You seem familiar.
Oh, yeah, it probably wasn't me. I don't do anything anymore.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion
Okay.
and manipulation roll.
Oh, I'm good at that. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus 1. I got 8. Oh,
Big roll.
big roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, we're looking for 8s and above.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
4 successes. He looks at you, and you put on your best choir boy smile, you, little wink and everything. You're a pure angel, and you give a little glint. A little glint hits the camera, and he goes, "It must have been some other shithead." And he turns and he walks back towards the restroom in the next car. When he opens the car door, there's wind whipping and everything, ice chunks and snow flurries, and then it closes, slams closed. The car is now all of yours. Is there anything anyone wishes to do? Wish to go to the casino car, the dining car?
Hawthorne's gonna cozy up to Mona Germain. Hey, you. I mean, I bet you get this all the time, but you smell amazing.
She looks at you and she goes. She has like a sly look, like she knows what you're doing. She goes, "I guess you could say that I come by it naturally."
Oh wow, you could bottle your musk up and sell that. It's beautiful.
And she like looks like very worried for a moment. She goes, "Well, how did you know? That's supposed to be a trade secret. Listen here, you son of a bitch. Have you been snooping on here? Who sent you here?"
Oh, I ain't been doing no snooping. I just followed my nose. I know a business opportunity when I smell one. Hawthorne J. Hawthorne.
She looks at your hand a little bit and then she extends her hand. She goes,
Job.
"Mona Germain, but I'm sure you smelled that out."
The perfume. I get it. What
She
brings
goes,
you to this car?
"Unfortunately, I was in Istanbul with my fiancé when I found out that he was cheating on me. So I was making my way home. And then I found out that my father, the great Francois Germain, was murdered. And so now I am taking over my duties as heiress to the Germain perfume empire."
I'm sorry for your loss and gain.
"It makes it slightly more comfortable." And she brings out a handkerchief and slightly dabs her cheeks underneath her eyes.
Back home, we have a saying for this. No business without a little stink.
Is that a quip?
That is a quip.
That is a quip, all right. You get a +1 on your next roll.
Yay!
Excellent. She goes, "Is this a American saying? I've never heard it before."
Oh, yeah. It's pretty common. It's apple pie.
One of your, how do you say, slogans, like drink more Ovaltine?
Oh, so you have. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Mr. J. Hawthorne, this has been a thrilling conversation, but I must go and freshen up a bit.
Smell you later.
She stands up and walks away. I'm loving the character choices here. As the director, I'm loving it. Professor Torblatt, you're reading over your studies. and you see Harrison Postlewaite stands up, and he shoots a glance over at Inspector Loop, and he gets in the chair in front of you that's empty, the bench in front of you that's empty, and he kind of leans in front of you and goes, "Hi there, Sheila. What do you seem to be doing there?"
I am working on my manuscript.
Ah, manuscript. You're doing some writing there, some reading, some arithmetic too?
Yes, I have a degree.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You have a degree. I've got an Olympic gold medal. That's kind of like the same thing, ain't it?
You have an Olympic gold medal?
Yes, I've got 3, and I've got 2 silvers and a bronze, but we don't really count those.
What events do you do?
I do professional competitive mountain climbing there.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you enjoy to climb?
I've been all over the world. Kilimanjaro, K2, the Smoky Mountains.
That's wonderful. I would love to hear more about that. See, I am a cryptozoologist. I study fantastical creatures.
Now, you're talking like unicorns or something there, love, aren't you?
Yes, unicorns. She touches her bolo tie and she goes, werewolves.
Oh. It seemed like you were going deep into like a personal backstory there for a moment, but it was just a brief glance. That seems very depressing. And he kind of stands up and he goes, I've seen myself a fantastical creature before.
What have you seen?
Yeah, okay, well there we were. We're in California, out near Big Sur. We were traipsing around, trying to find a good rock wall to climb. We were out sleeping. Had a couple beers in us, me and the lads. Having a couple shandies, enjoying some songs, around a campfire. We all get to sleeping. But I wake up. I've got to take a wicked whiz. Gotta go over to the trees and I hear something traipsing around in the trees. It's dark. It's darker than the shirt that you're wearing right now, I tell you. And I hear it again. It's coming from the left. And it's coming from the right. And I see something massive and hairy. As big as that woman over there. And he points to Francesca.
Francesca's like clearly like hanging on his story. It's like slowly crept in closer. She's like,
What do you think it was?
I'll tell you. I'm thinking it was Bigfoot.
And then it's just like a dolly zoom on Professor Torblatt. And it's like, it goes in on her face, but the background behind her expands. And she goes, that's impossible. There's actually no such thing as Bigfoot. I have studied this creature, all of the mythology surrounding it for years, and there is no such thing. It was probably a bear.
Oh no, it was no bear, Sheila, I'm telling you right now. I've seen him. I've met the bastard. His name's Hank and he's from Queensland. He wears size 11s. He's got a hairier back than you've had. I'll tell you right now. I had you going. Looks at Francesca. I had you going too. Look at this fella.
Francesca's just laughing super loud and obnoxiously in the background.
All right, I'm going to try to get me a nice chelada in me. You ever had a chelada? Excellent. Mexico City, we were climbing mountains. Everyone was drinking them. Yeah, I'll see you around. Yeah, baka. Excellent. And he just grabs his bag and he starts walking towards where Mr. Gersh was walking, towards the bar car.
Is the bar car separate from the dining car?
Yes, the bar car is separate from the dining car. So one of the great wonders of the Alpine Express, this once great but failing train line, is that it had a car for each different amusement. They had a sauna and spa car, they had a casino car, they had a bar car and a dining room car. But slowly, as money started hemorrhaging, they had to sell some of their train cars to other train lines, and so now there's just the casino car, the dining car, the bar car, and then like the room cars. and everything in like the passenger car.
Professor Torbot is not happy about being ridiculed and feels a little embarrassed now in the car, so she picks up her manuscript and heads towards the dining car.
And we have some soft music play as the camera then looks at Francesca. After that thrilling story, Francesca, what's going through your head?
Like, I sure was funny. Kind of an asshole, but he was funny. And I think Francesca just kind of like stands there, and she like crosses her arms, and then she uncrosses them, and then she like puts them behind her back, and then like there, and then she goes and sits down, and then gets up and walks across the car and sits down somewhere else. And she just like very clearly has no idea what to do without Mr. Mortabella there to tell her what to do. And she keeps like looking down the hallway, like between the cars, be like, "See, is he coming back?" Like back and forth.
He's been in the bathroom an awful long time, long enough for that rowdy Australian gentleman's story. You hear over a grainy intercom. New Holland Pass, 10 miles. Get ready for power outage as we hit a tunnel.
Whoa, did they say power outage?
You see Yumi Sanada that's sitting next to the inspector goes, yes, it's been quite a thing on this rail line that once it hits tunnels, the power goes out for a very convenient 5 minutes.
Convenient for what?
Oh, you know, if you're trying to take a quick nap or... Yeah, now that I think about it, it's not that convenient at all.
Francesca like raises her hands. Why did they do it then?
Oh, well, have you not heard the news? It says that the New Holland Pass is haunted. And then
Haunted?
Haunted. Yes. You can't go through it, so they built this tunnel that goes... You can't go around it, above it, or below it, so they built this tunnel that goes right through it as a means to not disturb any of the locals. You know, Swiss.
Not the ghosts or spirits.
Oh, yes. No, of course. It's not haunted by ghosts or spirits. That's ridiculous that there's any supernatural creatures that exist. She goes, but Swiss goat herders? A pox on the train community.
I see.
Oh, I get it. So we turned off the power so they don't know we're here.
Exactly.
In plain sight, I get it. It's clever. Worked it out.
There's a flashback of Francesca Donatelli doing a night operation for the mob. just playing in her head.
You can't see them, they can't see you. That's clearly how it works.
So, with that, Yumi goes back to showing off her bag to Inspector Loop, showing all the different newspaper clippings of your many exploits. The intercom comes to life again, and it says, 5 miles to the New Holland Pass. Prepare for power outage. Is there anywhere anybody wants to go before the New Holland Pass? Or are you sitting right here, perfectly safe in your seats?
I have just sat down in the dining car and I'm about to write, and then I hear that the power is going to go out. I'm just like...
Excellent. Yeah, just toss everything. You're just like, why even do it? And you're alone by yourself in the dining car, except for there's this one, like, maitre d' that is just, like, sitting on an apple box. And he's just, like, by the podium, by, like, the stand. But he's, like, sitting. And he's just kind of, like, looks up at you and goes, did you want any food, miss?
Well, yes, I would like some food, which is why I am in the dining car. And if you could take my order before the power goes out, that would be wonderful.
Excellent. We have a prime menu here. And he goes over and he walks over with a menu, and it has a la carte, which is just like banana, granola, apple, Pop-Tart, and then it says dinner, turkey sandwich, ham sandwich, ravioli, steak.
I'll have a coffee,
One cafe coming right up. Do you need leche? Sugar?
No, I take it black, thank you.
Perfect. Woman after my own heart. Walks over, goes behind, goes over to, and now you realize that there's a curtain area that's in the corner. Moves the curtain aside, and you see there's a hot plate, there's a microwave, there's a a cabinet and everything, and he just looks over at you. He grabs a pot, goes to a French press, pours the coffee grounds in it.
I'm
puts a
flying
boiling
next
pot,
time.
and it's just kind of putting his slowly just kind of staring at you, being like, "You did this." You ordered this. He finally gets your hot coffee in here. 2 miles to the New Holland Pass.
You know, what the fuck? I'll have a Pop-Tart too.
I'm so glad that you decided to eat.
How are the Pop-Tarts here?
We have blue raspberry. We have strawberry. We also have blueberry, but it's unfrosted.
I'll take a strawberry, thank you.
Strawberry coming right up. And just still looking at you, opens up the cabinet, grabs a package, opens it, takes open the Pop-Tart, puts it in a toaster, and then just puts it, and then just holds it. Just sits and waits. The train car's right, and he goes, "First time on the Alpine Express?"
Yes, it is my first time on the Alpine Express. I've been traveling to do research. I've actually, this is only my second time ever on a train.
Mm-hmm. Your second time ever on a train. That's wonderful. You hear the ding as the Pop-Tart, as he grabs the plate and goes, ah, and then brings the French press coffee, walks over, sets it in front of you, grabs a cup, sets it in front of you, not even a coffee mug, and the plate, and goes, "Your dinner is served."
Bon appetit. And I kind of just have my coffee and let the Pop-Tart cool a little bit. I think it's better if it's just, cooled down.
Is there anything else I can get you, madame?
Oh no, I'm just going to write and enjoy my food in silence.
And you see relief wash over his face, and he goes, "Perfect," and just walks back over to his apple box and just sits down and just looks out the window. Inspector, normally this would be all fine and dandy. You're used to situations like this. But you can't help but notice that it's been quite a bit long time since Miss Germain and Mr. Mortabella have making their way back to their seats. They were just going to freshen up.
That is true. I will excuse myself from my new #1 fan and start walking in the direction I saw the others going.
She goes, "Oh, but of course." And she brings out her newspaper again, and she flips to a maze that's in the kids section that has crosswords and everything like that, and goes to a maze and starts doodling it.
Oh, I think Francesca is also has already left to go look for Mr. Mortabella.
You stand up, and you see this gentleman stand up too, very regally, very assuredly, and starts walking back towards where the restrooms are. And Inspector, you feel a presence behind you, looming over you.
I detect someone looming behind me, and I turn around.
Oh, sorry, I
Dramatically.
didn't mean to loom. It just happens. I'm kind of big.
Yes, you're quite apt at looming. You work for...
It's a talent. I got hired for it.
Yes, you work for the organized gentleman who walked out of his car.
Yes. Yeah, he's my employer.
He's been gone some time.
That's where I'm going. You're in my way.
After
Try to
you,
get through.
I will make room for her
You-
first.
you squeeze you let her squeeze past.
Yeah, pardon me. Sorry. I'm just big. Pardon me.
And you make your way ahead, Francesca, towards where the restrooms are. And I'm assuming you're following behind, Inspector.
Yes.
It doesn't take long to when we see very dramatically, you see Mr. Mortabella talking up to Miss Germain because she is taller than he is, because he is only about 4'8", 5'2". And he goes, "Now you listen here to me, you minx. You're gonna remember what deal we made, or it's not just gonna be your fiance and your father that was capped. We're gonna be going after your gardener next, and then your pool boy, and then your gardener's gardener, and then your driver, until we'll take away everybody that you care for." And she goes, "Oh dear me. Without my driver, how ever will I get places? Without my gardener, how will my roses ever bloom? I'll have to do it myself. You're a monster." And he goes, I might be a monster, but I'm a wealthy monster." And she kind of sniffles and goes towards the dining car. And Mr. Mortabella turns and he goes, "Oh, it seems that we have a hanger-on in our presence. Francesca, can you take care of the good sir, please?"
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna turn around and I'm just gonna like put a big hand on the inspector's shoulder and be like, "Nothing to see here. It's private business." And I'm gonna start like turning him around to like push him back out the car.
No need. I've seen all that I need to, and I will turn around.
And I'll grab it. You ain't seen nothing.
Ah!
There's nothing to see. Nothing to see here.
And the inspector is escorted out. Francesca, you come back to this part of the area, the restrooms, which seem to be its own car, even though there's not a restroom car, but the set's just being reused. And Mr. Portobello goes, "Francesca, my dear, come to me. Come close."
Yeah. I'll like kneel down to his level.
"If you see that inspector putting his nose wherever it don't belong, I want you to make him like a tree.
And
Into a
put
coffin."
down roots?
No, not put down
Oh.
roots. You're not starting a family with him, though he does seem very
no.
handsome. He has a very Romanesque nose. He might be one of the family. We don't know. It might go back in descendants. He could be made one day. But no. You make him like a tree and turn him into a coffin. Capiche?
Yeah, Mr. Mortabella. I take care of it. Don't worry.
Because you take a tree, it's made out of wood, then you chop it down and then you put lacquer on it, and then you take it to a coffin maker and then they make it into a coffin.
And he like nails it together. Yeah.
Nails it together.
With
yeah,
a hammer.
You got it. And he takes his
And then
hand
they bury it.
and he gently pats your cheek and goes, "You're a smart kid, Francesca. You're a real smart
Thanks,
kid."
Mr. Mortabella. You know, you're the only one who ever says that to me.
Hey, you make sure I am the only one. I hear anybody else telling you you're smart, I'm going to take care of them, all right?
All right, yeah, Mr. Mortabella. For sure.
Now I'm going to go take myself a little nap. You'll be sure to keep an eye out for me.
Yeah. I'll be right outside the door.
This little Don's going to Dreamworld, and you hear a 1 mile to the New Holland Pass. Oh, perfect. Perfect time for a nap. And he turns and he walks to his room.
I'll follow and just like stand outside the door.
Perfect.
Sweet dreams, Mr. Mortabella.
Thank you, Francesca. Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Hawthorne. Where are you headed?
Well, the thing is, I've been traveling and I'm real sleepy, and I think I just need to take that. Damn it, I'm in the gambling car. All right.
You see there's this old man with like a slick back hair. He's got on the red vest. It's kind of shabby. He's got some patches in it. He's got a black bow tie. He's got the sleeve holders that keep them up. And he goes, "Are you sure you want me to hit you again?
Yeah. Just hit me again.
You're standing, you have 19.
I need 21. Hit me.
Go ahead and make a roll for me here. Let me go ahead
Okay.
and see exactly what our fair rock contour is going to make. Let's see here. How about we do a little bit of larceny,
What?
and we can do some cunning. Yeah, larceny and cunning.
That I'm a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 success.
One success.
But I have a bonus one from before.
You have a bonus one for 4. Perfect.
2 successes.
So, knowing that you're probably going to be in a tight spot, you do a nice little Hawthorne signature move, and you do the pardon me. And he goes, "Oh goodness, you've sneezed right on my face." And he takes his handkerchief, covers his eyes, and you quickly take one of your own cards from your pocket and slip it on the top of the deck.
For sure.
So he takes it and he pulls out a 3 and drops it. Oh
Hey.
joy. 21.
It's my lucky day.
You win. And he takes your chips and pushes them back towards you and goes, "Would you like to play again?"
Oh, yeah. And he'll flip open the briefcase and you can see inside there's 2 jars of something and then just casino chips. And he sort of shovels some back into the briefcase, takes out 2 more. He's like, "Let's go again." And shuts the briefcase.
It's a very secure place to keep your chips.
Always on me.
And you hear the door slide open, and you see the Australian gentleman, the mountain climber, Harrison Postlewaite, coming and goes, "What do we got here? A little bit of gambling, don't we, eh?
Hey, you want to make it more interesting?
Hey, you look like a cheeky fella. Yeah, I've got myself here a chelada." And he's holding up a glass that has some kind of red liquid in it. And then he goes, "Got myself a chelada." And now what? He takes out a $20 bill, puts it on the table, and then the dealer grabs chips and puts it down on the table. And he goes, "This is my existence."
Oh.
He just goes and he puts cards in front of you, then flips them over. And the Australian fellow goes, "So what brings you here on the L Alpine Express? Cheeky business?"
I wouldn't think there was anything cheeky about me. I'm a fine, upstanding American businessman doing American business that way.
Look, I'll tell you, I'm from out in the bush, all right? I've had to fight off dingoes and roos off of my father's sheep farm, all right? I've seen a lot of cheekiness in my lifetime, and when I look at a man in a suit like that, well, I'll tell you what, you're nothing but cheeks there, fella.
Well, I look really good in this suit, so...
It's an
I'll
excellent
take
cut, I would have to
Thank
say, yeah. My uncle's a tailor.
Oh. Well, then I know it's a practiced eye, and I will take that.
Perfect. You know what brings me here?
No, what?
One of the highest mountains in the Swiss Alps. And he gets really serious. He goes,
Oh.
"Have you heard of Ubermensch?"
I can't say that I have.
Ubermensch is the tallest mountain in Switzerland. 35 men and women have died trying to climb it. They didn't even make it to the summit. They died trying to get up out of their base camps. They didn't even make it up the mountain.
Whoa.
And they didn't die because they ran out of food or oxygen or anything like that. Freak
They ate
accidents.
each other? Oh, what? What did you say?
Did you say cannibalism?
Well, I thought that's where we were. It's not.
Funny you say that. There was an act of cannibalism, but it was just because there was a cannibal that was trying to climb the mountain. He was running away from the authorities.
Every profession has its dangers, I guess.
But no, freak accidents. Some murdered in their beds. Some murdered when they're out getting themselves a shandy. One was even murdered trying to do his laundry.
Oh, the tragedy.
Ripped apart. 21, baby!
Oh.
And he hits the table as he's got blackjack. He goes, "Well, that's enough for me." He grabs his chips. He goes, "I'm going to go cash in." And you see there's an old woman standing in a cage. He goes, "I'm going to go cash in. I'm going to go spin this back in the back eye."
Just a woman in a cage on a train.
Yeah. You hear, "Half mile to the New Holland Pass." It's the longest 10 miles.
As soon as that comes over the speakers, you can see Hawthorne is now casing the joint. When the electricity goes out, what can I take?
Let's go ahead and make me another cunning and larceny roll, please.
I will. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. 3 successes.
3 successes. This place is going to be the easiest place you've knocked over before. That old woman looks like she's half asleep, like right now. This man that is the dealer does not care at all.
He's not paid enough.
Yeah. You look over in the corner, there's a goat in the corner. You didn't even notice it before, but it's just there. So, we pull back, and you see there's a model train going down tracks leading towards this tunnel. As the train goes into the tunnel, I need each of you to make me an intellect and we're gonna go with intellect and enigmas roll, please.
I'm not very good at this. I got 2 successes.
Hey!
Oh, very nice. That's really good for me.
So here's the thing. I had a pretty good pool. I rolled 0 successes and also a 1.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so that is a botch.
Yeah.
So what is good about that is that you go ahead and you have been able to add a point to the writer's pool for us. So in this game, there are things called cinematics. It's different things that they can spend their writer pool points on that can help change the story in ways that benefit them or do not benefit them. So now you started with 1. You now have 2 points to spend in the writer's pool at any moment if you want to change that. So it's a nice, neat little mechanic that they have here in the game. But we do have 2 successes from Cheska.
5 successes with my quip.
5 successes
Wow.
with the quip. The inspector never misses anything.
I got two successes.
2 successes. Neither does the professor. As the lights go out on the Alpine Express, many things happen. Let's start outside Mr. Mortabella's room. Francesca, you're standing there, you're doing your duty, you're making sure nobody misses with Mr. Portobello. And you hear a crash. The window from his room, ripping wind, roaring ice chunks going and spraying the bed. And you hear a, oh God, no, please, please do not take me. Do not take me.
Get the door open.
The door is locked. The door is locked.
Mr.
Apparently he's
Mortabella!
locked in.
Mr. Mortabella!
You're gonna have to give yourself a might and athletics or close combat check here.
Oh wow, okay, I'm good at that. Alright, it's the same either way, so.
Excellent.
2, 3, 4 successes.
4 successes. This is what you've trained for. This is what you were handpicked for. You remember your father, the same job that your father had before he betrayed Mr. Mortabella. Or did he betray Mr. Mortabella, or did Mr. Mortabella betray him? It's all kind of foggy, but it's okay. You got a new job now.
These things happen.
And you take your big boot, or your big shoe, your Italian leather loafers, and you kick the door open. We're going to cut to the inspector. Inspector, everything slows down for you. We see, almost like a modern movie and these old Hammer horror films meeting together. You see pi go across, the Pythagorean theorem. You see maybe some scientific formulas. Is that a recipe for cake? Who knows? As it goes across, and then in a monologue you hear in your own head, your inner monologue, in your mind palace, you hear tufts of fur, stink of meat and skull, murder. Sounds coming from Mortabella's room. Someone's just been bit by a goat.
light indigestion.
Light indigestion. We cut to the casino car. Hawthorne J. Hawthorne, ready to strike. Gets kind of mixed up for which corner is which, with the old lady that had the chips and the bank and the goat. And immediately, Hawthorne J. Hawthorne sticks his hand in a goat's mouth and gets bit by a goat.
Son of a bitch.
So you're gonna take one mark on just a flesh wound in the bottom left-hand corner as you get bit by a goat, getting overeager. And then finally, Professor, you're preparing yourself for this moment. The moment where you're going to have 5 minutes where you couldn't work on your manuscript at all. The lights go down. The power goes out. And you hear a, "That son of a bitch. I hope he dies. I hope he perishes. I'll show him he can't take Germaine perfume from me." And then you hear a, "Oh dear!" And somebody crashing into a table. And then a man going, "Oh no, I'm sorry. It seems that I have tripped you accidentally." And there's some scuffling and some struggling. And then you hear a shriek. Time freezes. We see each of your characters have red lights, yellow lights, blue lights, flashes. All these things are happening to you as you're seeing, and we settle on spotlights coming up on each of you. Inspector Loop looking directly towards where murder was occurring. Hawthorne J. Hawthorne, a look of pain on his face with his hand stuck in a goat's mouth, and he's looking at it too, like it's horrific. Professor Jennifer Torblatt looking and seeing that Miss Germaine has broken her leg because she's been tripped. She's fallen into a table, tripped again, and then landed and broken her leg because the maitre d' has seemingly not taken care of where his apple box was. And then finally, Francesca Donatelli seeing her ward, the man who plucked her up when her father was brutally murdered by someone that might or might not have been him, even though he admits it all the time, dead in his room. And the camera shows Francisco Mortabella, and it's clearly a mannequin that has just been smashed and there's red paint all over it, but he's got a fedora on and everything. And you see your head turns and you look and you see a busted window with wind whipping. And we see definitely one of those old movie like rotating scene backdrops behind it just going, whipping out. And there's a little tuft of white fur hanging on some shattered glass. What are we all doing?
I'm gonna rush to the mannequin that is Mr. Mortabella. Mr. Mortabella, no! No, I failed you! And then I'm gonna like look down and be like, this is not how dead bodies are supposed to look.
And we cut back, and then it's been replaced. The mannequin. Oh, it's equipped. I think we are all. I agree that was a perfect placement. Let's go. That's excellent clip. That's
great.
That's not how dead bodies are supposed to look. Amazing.
Wow.
And we cut, and we see you holding the mannequin when you picked up. The camera was just following, and then it cuts to, and it's the actor that was playing Mortabella, but he's just got red paint all over him now, and he's just like he's overselling it. He's Brandoing right now.
It really is him. It really is Mr. Mortabella. He's really dead.
And then we cut back out and we see that it's a mannequin again. It's just different cuts. How about the rest of you? How are you reacting to these scenes? Miss Germaine is just moaning on the floor, groaning.
She's moaning Mona, as a matter of fact.
Moaning Mona.
That's what she is. I run over to her and I go, "Oh my God, are you okay? Can you move your toes?"
"This imbecile! He has tried to commit murder against me! Look at him!" And
No.
the maitre d' is dusting himself off, and he goes, "I do apologize. I did not mean to do it." She goes, "Murderer! Murderer! Murderer!"
No, just calm down. I really don't think he tried to kill you. He's just kind of dumb.
"J'accuse! Are you in on it too? The professor trying to come after my... How could you do this to me? After that moment we had where our tickets were being punched and I complimented your lipstick. Snakes in the grass everywhere.
Ma'am, I don't even know you, okay? Why would I don't have any motive to kill you or try to do anything to you. Look, just wait here and I'm gonna go get my kit and help you because as you know, Professor Talbot has a kit that they use to investigate paranormal and inside there's first aid.
Of course. Every cryptozoologist carries first aid with them. It's the first rule being a cryptozoologist.
Yes.
You make your way, you're running, and you do see Inspector Loot standing, staring into the distance, cracking a case.
I just kind of like gently sneak around him, try not to mess with his mojo.
You smell leather and tobacco and lead. It throws off your case a little bit.
Yeah,
somebody has clearly walked past you.
Yeah, I snap out of it, and I will head toward the. Actually, I'll head toward the shouts of Jermaine because now that I'm snapping back, I realize someone shouted murder.
Yeah, somebody.
That's the magic word.
You go to grab your bag, Hawthorne. Now that you've been seemingly caught goat-handed, where are you headed?
Grievously wounded.
Grievously wounded, yes. Where are you headed? What are you doing? How are you assessing the situation?
The thing. This I thought was a fine, upstanding establishment, but I guess not. So I'm gonna go talk to Gersh, and I'm gonna sue the pants off of him.
You immediately turn and you start heading towards the engine. Excellent. Francesca. The man who you were awarded for, you were destined and chosen, handpicked to protect, is dead. What are you doing?
I'm gonna start yelling. I'm gonna open the door and be like, "Help! Help! Somebody help me! Mr. Montebella's he's dead! Somebody help me! I need a doctor!"
And you hear from further down the car, you go, "No, help me! Help me! I've been attempted murder twice! Help me first!"
I haven't committed murder here!
The inspector's halfway to Jermaine, hears the attempted murder, looks kind of disappointed, and then heads in the direction of the actual murder.
Of the actual murder.
I poke my head in and I look at Francesca and I go, "Okay, I'll be right back." And I continue to get my kit.
Continue to get your kit. You go ahead and grab your kit. And then I like to imagine it's just in a few seconds. You grab your kit, we see your hand pick up the kit, and then you come back. It's a few seconds. You go, "I will be right back," and then you make your way through. Mona is sitting there. She is beside herself, and she's like, "Please help me! I've been attempted murdered." Go ahead and make a medicine and intellect roll for me, please.
Medicine and intellect. Well, I got a pretty good intellect. What is my medicine? What am I doing with that? Okay. Oh, this should be pretty okay thing for me. 2.
2 successes.
Yeah.
You now realize that it was not her leg that was broken at all, but her heel had broken. But she's just kind of overselling it. The snap you heard was her heel breaking and everything. So you realize that she might have rolled her ankle or something, but she just needs some ice.
Okay, I look at the maitre d' and I say, do you have ice on this car? I mean, you should.
Of course. I will add it to your tab. And he walks over to a freezer, grabs it, and then just grabs a bag.
Wrap it in a towel.
Grabs a towel and just starts scooping it into the towel and wrapping around. She goes, "Doctor, am I going to be okay?"
I flip open my kit, which is it's I don't know what those things are called. You know what I'm talking about? It rolls out.
Oh, yeah. Looks like a tackle box maybe.
Yeah, there's a big knife, there's a wooden stake, there's a magnifying glass, there's all this kind of creepy monster hunting stuff, and then there's just ibuprofen.
Amazing.
And I grab a couple and I give them to her and I go, your foot's going to be fine. Just ice and elevate. I got to go take care of something else now.
She goes, thank you. How can I ever repay you?
You can just kind of calm down a little bit.
For you, the person who has saved my life, anything. And then the guy brings over, the maitre d' brings over the towel with the ice. She goes, don't you touch me, you swine! And she takes the ice and like puts it on her ankle.
Good luck. And then I just take off.
You make your way back to where Francesca Donatelli and the inspector are looking over Mr. Mortabella. But before that, we are going to cut to Hawthorne J. Hawthorne making his way towards the engine. And you see Gersh talking to the conductor, and he goes, okay, so what you're going to see is, so we can't necessarily use charcoal anymore for the engine. So what we're going to have to start doing is we're going to go and we're going to stop at different places on the route. We're going to chop down trees. I know it might be illegal, but then we can start making charcoal out of that. Start burning the trees around it. Oh, Mr. Hawthorne, good to see you.
What? Yeah, haven't you heard? A horrible tragedy has happened and it has occurred under your watch.
Oh my
I've been
goodness.
bitten by a goat.
A goat? However did a goat get on board?
Well, that is your question to answer, sir, and I will see you in court.
Go ahead and give me a cunning and persuasion or larceny. One of the two.
Okay, I'll go with persuasion and cunning. Yeah.
Oh, let's go manipulation. That is even better.
Manipulation.
Yeah,
Got
even
it.
better.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 successes.
2 successes. He instantly gets kind of sweaty and he goes, well, you know, we can't have anything like that. We don't want a bad review or anything. You know.
This is probably the worst thing that could ever happen to you on a train, honestly. It's gonna be terrible press.
Awful press. Well, how can we ever make it up to you?
Well, I would say you could make it up for me in casino chips along the way, or I could see you in a court of law.
Oh, goodness, no need for the authorities here. Doris, and calls to the casino cart, and you see the old woman go, yes, can I help you? And he goes, Doris, will you go ahead and set up with Mr. Hawthorne a very handsome sum of chips? Why, of course. I think it should be important to note that a terrible tragedy has occurred on this train. And he goes, yes, I've heard. Mr. Hawthorne has had his hand bit by a goat. How did we get a goat on board? And he goes, I can't tell you. It's been there since I started working here. And he goes, no, I didn't even know about that. Someone's been murdered. And he looks at you and Gersh looks at you and looks at her. And then you start hearing some screaming as ice starts going up against the wheels of the train and the track. And he goes, oh, what the devil is that? And the conductor's like, it seems that the ice is frozen over the rails. We cut back to where the inspector and Francesca are. Francesca holding the dead Mr. Mortabella. The professor makes her way in right behind you. It's a very cramped shot.
Someone say murder.
Mr. Donatello's been murdered.
Did I hear a sound effect? I'm gonna give you a quip die just for that. Go for it. It's off the rails here.
I imagine he's staring into the camera, and the camera cuts with him just staring into space dramatically, and then he goes to work.
Perfect.
The professor walks in with her kit open, ready to, and then she just looks and is like, there's nothing I can do for this guy. Kind of
You
closes
sure?
it.
You haven't even looked at him.
What does he look like?
Would you like to give a medicine and intellect check again, please?
Yes.
Anybody can make this check as well if you wish.
I got nothing.
Nothing? Nothing?
Yeah.
One success.
One success.
I'll
Well,
roll the 2 die I have for that roll. Sure, why not?
I can tell you right now, we get another point to the writer's pool, all right?
I got 1 success on that roll.
One success? Okay, and we will resolve both of those 1 successes. VHC drinking game, there's a cat on screen, so if you're
Holly
if you're
really wanted
playing,
to
then
be
go
part
ahead
of
and
the
take a
stream,
drink.
apparently.
Go ahead and take a drink. Have your sangria or whatever you're drinking at 4 in the afternoon. For me, it could be different times for everybody else.
It's after 5 here. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Crack one open. Have a good time. It's convention weekend. I can tell you, without a doubt, without reasonable doubt, that this man is irreversibly and irrefutably dead. He has, in fact, been beaten to death. It could have been with a club, could have been with somebody's hands, but he's dead.
I will examine the broken window.
You go over to the broken window. Go ahead and roll me a intellect and enigmas.
I asked Francesca, were you in the room when this happened?
No, I was just outside the door. I heard the window like smashing, and then Mr. Donatello was like, "Oh, please don't hurt me, please don't murder me." And then I was bashing at the door, trying to get it open, and I got it open, and then I come in here, and
So,
there it is.
10's re-rolled, I don't remember.
10s do reroll. That is my bad. That is one thing I forgot. So if you get 10s, they explode.
We got
I-
exploding 10.
Exploding
Good to know.
10s.
I have 7 successes. Then.
7 successes. The inspector goes to work looking at the white fur caught in the glass how it's broken. It was broken from the outside in. Somebody climbed outside the train, smashed the window open, killed this man, and climbed back out. And it seems that the fur was caught. Now, if we had to remember all of our suspects who were wearing fur coats, well, that had to be Mr. Maine, Mr. Gersh, as well as, well, it's just Mr. Maine and Mr. Gersh. Honestly.
And the Don was wearing.
And the
fur
Don
too.
was wearing a fur coat too. So you look
That's what
around
I meant.
and you realize that the Don does not have his fur coat anywhere around. So
Oh
whoever,
shit! Oh, I gotta get that coat back. I gotta get the coat back. I'm gonna be a big shit. His kid's gonna want the coat.
at that exact moment, you feel the train lurch as it screeches to a halt. Hawthorne, the Australian mountain climber, comes up and goes, "What the devil's going on up here? I hear this gentleman yelling bloody murder because he got bit by a goat. Saw it with my own eyes. It's okay, I'm accustomed to darkness. I can see in the dark. It's great. Comes from dingo farming as well. And I've heard screaming bloody murder from the back, and now the train's stopping. What's going on?" And the conductor goes, "I'm afraid that we cannot go past any further. The track has been frozen over." And we cut back and we see that there's just been a pile of snow that's put on top on the train tracks and everything. "We're going to have to shovel it out." "Well, who's going to have to shovel it out for you?" "Well, it's going to be me, Doris, everybody that works on the train. We're going to have to conveniently step off the train and shovel this away, leaving just the passengers on board."
That sounds like a reasonable course of action, and I will be awaiting my chips to continue gambling as I wait.
Mr. Gersh goes, "Of course. Now let's go see about this murder." And Mr. Gersh goes walking back through the cars. And then Harrison looks at you and goes, "I just thought somebody was screaming bloody murder. Somebody actually got murdered? That's ridiculous."
And Hawthorne's gonna follow along.
Excellent. So we all gather together slowly, one by one. Inspector, what is your next course of action? How are you going to solve this murder case?
I am going to carefully poke my head out the window and see if I can see anything, any other clues on the outside of the train, any bloody handprints, marks, anything like that.
Go ahead, and we're going to go off of your previous Enigmas check here, just because it was just so well done. And you stick your head out. And the wind is whistling and it's whipping around, and there's snow all over the place, and it's kind of like snow blindness a little bit. But you can see off in the distance, toward the rear of this train, shape moving in the snow, a large shape, and it ducks behind the train.
I would
There's
like
a
to
large, ominous shape behind this train.
I would like to take a look at the fur, if I may, Inspector. I do know a bit about animals, and about animals in this area.
You go ahead and you take the fur from the inspector. And
I'm gonna smell it. I'm gonna taste it.
Mm-hmm,
Just very into this fur. I'm gonna pull a little magnifying glass out from my kit and look at it.
Perfect. Everything that a cryptozoologist would do normally. Go ahead and make a science and intellect roll for me, please.
Right, science and intellect. Okay. Ooh, man, this better be good for me. This roll. Okay. Here we go.
Meantime, the inspector dashes towards the back of the train and shouts for Donatelli to follow.
Donatelli, you've
okay.
been shouted to follow. You run through, and you notice that Miss Germain is gone. She was crying from this part, but she doesn't seem to be anywhere to be found. It doesn't take you too long, and you run to the back of the train. Professor, how many successes did you receive?
3.
3 successes. You can't believe it. After all this time, without a shadow of a doubt, and you thought it wasn't possible, after tasting and smelling and going through all of the tests that are normal for the Cryptozoological Society of the world, without a shadow of a doubt, this is not a fur coat from fur. This is nothing like alpaca or llama or fox fur or ferrets or goats or sheep or anything of that nature. It's not bear, it's not deer, it's not cat, it's not any of these animals, but it is in fact a Yeti fur.
By George, I do believe that we are on to something quite mysterious, supernatural, perhaps unusual. It seems to me that this fur might be of a Yeti, a Sasquatch. If not, perhaps synthetic in nature, but I highly doubt it.
And then you see the Australian get close in frame, look at it, and he goes, "Ah, yeah, it's exactly what Hank's back looked like." And then he leans back out.
Wait, who's Hank?
That was a big close-up on an eye roll.
I'll tell you later there, lad. We cut to Francesca and Inspector Loop as you run to the caboose of the train, which is just the passenger cabins, but it's a repeat. But you open it up and then you see the back of a caboose. And what are you looking for? Are you looking for the shape?
Yes, in a huff, I explain on the way that I saw a hulking shape of some sort hiding behind a rock at the back of the train, and I'm trying but not succeeding in hiding my giddiness that there is something to do.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me an intellect and enigmas roll, both of you.
Oof.
It's llama.
I got 2 successes.
2 successes.
I never roll this good on camera. 6 successes.
Perfect. Amazingly, you are both searching for any signs of it. And Francesca, you find a footprint in the snow. And it's like your footprint, but double the size. And it seems almost human-shaped. And you see more tufts of fur. And it smells weird back here. And then, Inspector Loop, you cannot mistaken that smell from anywhere. You smelled it on the train when all this occurred.
Yes.
And you nudge Francesca and you look towards an outcropping of rocks that are above the train, just a half a mile away, and you see them. 3 Yeti, which are just gentlemen in Yeti suits, standing, holding what appears to be an arm, a prosthetic arm or a mannequin arm, and they start beating their chests, and you hear like a roar, like a King Kong roar. And we are going to hit our intermission.
My God.
So go ahead, everyone. Take the time to go use the restroom. Take the time to go grab some snacks or some sodas from the lobby. And we will be back after a very tight 10-minute intermission. So thank you very much, and we will see you soon. And we are back. Just like a true Hammer horror film or a true production, my technology has failed me once again. But we're back. We're here. We're ready to start back and pick up right where we left off. In the Inspector, Lou and Francesca Donatelli had both witnessed 3 Yeti standing on a ridge overlooking the Alpine Express. We also cut to the car where everyone had gathered near Mr. Mortabella's dead body, and you hear a gasp and a shriek come from the chair of Yumi Saneta. And she goes, "Ah, what are those things?" And she points dramatically towards the window. What do all of you do that are inside?
It's a dead body. This person is dead.
The Australian goes, no, Harrison goes, no, and turns your head towards the window. And the camera pans, and you all see the same ledge, but different kind of like, it's like the shot has been reversed. Yeah. You see 3 Yeti standing overlooking the train car, and they start beating their chest as well. It seems, Professor Torblatt.
Just quick as a point of order, that was one of my quips.
Oh, that was a quip?
This person is dead.
This person is dead. Perfect. Go ahead and take that dice. Yes, take that extra dice. Oh my goodness.
The camera slam cuts into Professor Talbot, like close up. Like it just gets in my face, and I just go, no. and I run to the back of the train to try and get outside to see a better view of them.
Amazing. Miss Saneta squeals, and she runs to hide. Harrison posts a wait. Australian mountain climber goes, "Oh, it looks so tough," and grabs his bag, and you see him grab like an ice pick and some rope, and he goes, "Come on, Hawthorne, you with me?"
Well, I'm going wherever you have that ice pick.
Perfection. And he starts going towards to walk outside the train car. You two that are in the back of the train car, what are you doing? Or outside?
So they're holding an arm, you said?
Yeah, they're holding an obvious, like, mannequin arm.
Is it that Mr. Mortabella's arm?
It's supposed to be Mr. Mortabella's arm.
Francesca just starts, "That is not your arm! That's not your arm! That's Mr. Mortabella's arm! That's my property!" And I'm gonna like beat on my chest and just like they did and yell and just like go running right at them.
You're running right. Oh God, you're running right at them.
Wait!
Inspector Loop cries, "Wait!" Excellent. I'm loving this. This is everything that I wanted. All right. So, Inspector Loop, you hear the door open again behind you as Professor Torblatt stomps out, and witnessing firsthand there, Professor Torblatt, you see 3 Yeti, one with an arm that is supposedly Mr. Mortabella's, and you see Francesca Donatelli running right at them.
The good news is I've solved the murder.
Is that a quip?
Not.
No, okay, well, it's
It should be.
It should be. It really should be. Okay, perfect. Okay, so
Let's just say, seeing Donatelli running out there, I don't want her to face these things alone. And looking at my stats and realizing I'm kind of a two-fisted investigator, I am going to grab the nearest blunt object, and I'm going to say, I work somewhere between justice and vengeance, giving my quip.
There we go. There's
With
the
a summer
quip.
home and retribution, and I run out.
And you manage to just grab, like, there's just it's a random wooden sign that you grab. It's almost like a picket sign almost that you just grab and you run to it. And it says Alpine Express, buy one get one free tickets, now offering summer deals. And you start running into the fray. Professor Torblatt, what are you doing?
I pull out of my kit. I pull out a stake and I just start running directly toward Francesca. My goal being to jump on her and stop her and pull her to the ground.
Excellent. All right. So we're starting to get into combat. Let's go ahead and go to Hawthorne and Harrison, and then we will utilize initiative here. So, Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Do you grab anything when you see that Harrison has grabbed an ice pick?
That is a good question. Oh, I know. On our way out, he just grabs the first thing that he can, and it's one of those like poker chip shuffler sticks to like reach them from afar. It's like a rake.
Yeah. Like a chip rake. We'll call it a chip rake. I don't know if it's called a chip rake, but it's a chip rake. Excellent.
Now I'm ready. And my briefcase.
And I can't believe in our little chat here, I wrote writer's pool without telling you your writer's pool. There we go. You have 3 in your writer's pool. Perfect. So you grab a chip rake, and then Harrison has his ice pick, and you make your way out into the snow and the ice, and you see those 3 Yetis. Now, it's 3-on-3 in the back, and it's 2-on-3 in the sidecar. To determine initiative order, what I need you all to do is go ahead and take your highest rated skill, your appropriate skill to the character's action with your cunning and roll that dice pool. And whoever has the highest number of successes goes initiative-wise. And I'll take the initiative order and drop it in the chat.
So is it just the highest skill or the highest one that's applicable?
Highest applicable skill.
Is survival applicable here?
Survival is applicable here, I would say.
I got 1.
1, all right.
0. But no ones this time.
No ones.
Got 1. Y'all, I rolled 7 dice. I got 1 success.
Right. At least you
Excellent.
got 1.
Y'all can decide between yourselves who you want to go first, the professor or Francesca.
I feel like I'll go first because I lifted the action first. I don't know. Feels like makes sense.
Yep. Perfect. All right, and Inspector.
I will let the professor go first.
Excellent.
I will go
Third. So we have Francesca, the professor, Loop, Harrison, and then Hawthorne. Because Harrison rolled a 0 as well.
I think
Quite
we're falling
easy.
for each other. I don't know.
I don't know. Will they or won't they? Perfect. All right. So starting us off, Francesca, you see these 3 Yeti, and one jumps down right in front of you, and he has Mr. Mortabella's arm in his hand, and at what you first thought was its Yeti coat, you realize is actually a Yeti wearing Mr. Mortabella's coat. What are you gonna do?
I think the camera very quickly like cuts to a shot of like Francesca's thigh where she's got like a giant like hunting knife strap there. Hasn't been in any previous scene, but it's there now. And she's her like pulling out giant hunting knife, and then just like leap onto it and try to like stab it right in the chest.
Excellent. Okay, so you are going ahead and you're going to make some combat rolls. So I've got a difficulty set for this monster, this creature that you have to hit. You are going to make an associated might roll, and if you get that enough successes, then you succeed and you do damage. If you get more successes than that, then you're able to do some stunts as well, like blind or disarm or feint or knock down or pin down your enemies. So go ahead, Miss Donatelli, if you would, take a might and a close combat roll for me, please.
I apparently forgot to use my die for the quip. Can I just add it now?
You can just add it now.
The success. Yeah, I forgot to do that.
I see absolutely no reason why you could not.
All right. Oh man.
Oh yeah?
So I rolled 0 successes on 7 die, but then I add that 1 from my quip to make it 1 success, I guess.
Yeah, so 1 success. You go ahead and you take your knife and you're there and you're ready to prowl and you go to stab against the Yeti, and the Yeti uses the mannequin arm almost like it's fencing with it. It seems like maybe they paid like an actor that had like combat training. You know, the actor that says like, yes, I have combat training, but they really just took fencing for a little bit, like, you know, sword play. They really didn't have any other kind of fighting training. Goes and like
Have you been looking at my resume?
Blocks it and then holds up Mr. Mortabella's arm, and it's just this mannequin arm that's got a little bit of red paint on it. An unguard motion. Professor, you are next.
Professor wants to stop Francesca from dueling with these creatures. So she's trying to run and jump and pull her back.
Oh, goodness. Oh, no. All right, so you're going to go ahead and make we'll say this is a might athletics.
Athletics.
Yeah, and Francesca, if you are going to fight against that, then you would make the same roll.
Might
Oh,
and
wow.
athletics.
Ooh. And as I'm doing this, I'm saying, "Stop! We know not what they are." And I got no successes.
No successes. Go ahead and add that to the writer's pool.
3 successes.
3 successes. Francesca, Professor Torblack grabs your arm and says, "Stop! We know not what they are. What do you do in response?"
I'm gonna jerk my arm right out of her hands and say, "We know they killed Mr. Donatella, Mr. Mortabella. I can't. They're wearing his coat. The monsters, Professor. You gotta kill monsters."
Oh, amazing. Next, Inspector Loop.
I run to aid Donatelli, wielding my sign, but I look kind of apologetically at the professor and say, "I'm with you on caution," but I
Go ahead and take a swing. Go ahead and make a might and close combat roll here, my good inspector.
Three successes with my quip.
3 successes. Excellent. You go ahead and while you're moving towards this Yeti that's wearing the coat, another Yeti like hops down, and like it has in its hand like a rock or something, and it starts doing the and then it does a quick cut to like a obviously choreographed fight scene where you go to like hit it and it blocks it with the rock, and you go to like sweep the leg and it hops over the sign, and then like you go to like hit it with the butt of the sign and it like does like a oh no block, and then you switch up and trick it and hit it over the head with the sign, and it gets bonked on the head and it seems a little bit dazed. And you go ahead and you have a extra stunt. So if you wish, you can choose to increase damage by 1. You can blind the creature. You can feint, which generates 1 level of enhancement for you or your allies' next attack against this opponent, or you can trip him.
I'll go with the trip.
Excellent. And then as soon as you bonk on the head and the Yeti is going, oh no, you take your sign and you trip the Yeti, and the Yeti does a very exaggerated vaudeville, like, oh, whoop, nope, falls on its back. Amazing. All right. We cut to Harrison and Hawthorne. Hawthorne, these creatures have the jump on you, though. One jumps down and goes to, like, grab you. Like, not to harm you or hit you or anything like that, but goes and tries to grab you in a big bear hug. Go ahead and give me a might and athletics roll, please.
Okay. Let's see. Athletics is 2 and might is 2, so 4. 1 success.
1 success. All right. Excellent. Let me go ahead and roll for him. Surprisingly, in a bout of strength, Hawthorne has seemingly taken self-defense classes.
Oh.
As you see the Yeti comes and grabs you from behind, and you do the whole stomp on the foot, hit in the gut, and then nose groin, and then the Yeti goes, oh no, oh, and you can hear kind of in the background, the sound editing is too great. It goes, why did you have to actually hit me? Come on, man.
And then Hawthorne just turns to the camera and says, self-defense classes for 3 payments of $49.99.
Go ahead and take a quit point. That is even quit. Yeah, go ahead and take a quit point. I'm just handing these out like candy now. We're having fun here. Excellent. Okay, and then you see Harrison is locked in a duel where the Yeti has grabbed a big stick and is doing he's grabbing the ice pick, and then the Yeti's stick breaks in half, and then you see him do a couple swing motions with the stick and prepares himself like he's doing Tong Soo-do or something. Next are the 3 Yetis that are combating our 3 heroes at the back of the train. First up is the one that has Mr. Mortabella's arm. Go ahead, Miss Donatelli. I need you to give me a composure and empathy roll as you see this.
I don't have any empathy.
Oh, okay. Well, you're just gonna roll composure then. As you see this Yeti that you were locked in combat with, that was like blocked and everything, takes a step back and holds up Mr. Mortabella's arm almost like he's a Tusken Raider, and then starts dancing around in his coat, clearly trying to goad you and taunt you into getting you off your senses and everything, trying to get an upper hand on you.
Okay, I got 1 success for my composure.
1 success. All right, let me go ahead and double check.
The professor's just like, my goodness, they move so much like us.
Take a quip. I don't care. Take a quip point. Do it. That was great. Miss Donatelli, your eyes narrow. The Ironside theme goes off. The Kill Bill horns. Don't DMCA us, please. Twitch, don't DMCA us. Just because I did that poor attempt at that. And
the camera just does like
focus.
a right on across the eyes.
Yeah, and you were hyper focused on that Yeti. Every roll that you try to do that is an action that is not against attacking this Yeti is at a -2 deficit. So this Yeti has your former father figure's coat, who murdered your actual father figure, and his arm, and you want that arm and that coat back.
I'm not very composed, it would seem.
Not very composed at all. Professor Torblatt, go ahead and give me a dexterity, and you can do dexterity and athletics or dexterity and survival, whatever you prefer.
I'll probably prefer the one that I have a better pool for.
Excellent. That is going.
So let's see. I'm doing dexterity, and I will do. What was it? What was the other one besides athletics?
Dexterity or athletics or survival.
Okay, well, all I have is dexterity. Here we go. Let's do this. One success.
One success, and you do have equip dice if you want to use that equip success. Yeah.
I will do that too. Perfect.
Excellent. So you do that, and you almost like your spider sense is going off, or we'll say your arachnid sense. So we're not offending anybody that works for a big company if they ever do see this in the future, because the stream that I have on might potentially do that. You almost get this sense in the back of your head, and you turn and you look over at a smaller yeti that has a batch of rocks that obviously look like styrofoam as it chucks one at your head, but you dodge just out of the time, just in the moment. We cut back to Harrison and Hawthorne. Harrison, with his ice pick, goes, and I'm going to make a roll for him. A clear stunt double attacks the yeti that was attacking him as he does a punch combo. He's got an ice pick in his hand, but he does a punch combo, and the yeti does with the sticks blocking it, and then he dodges a stick attack, trips up the yeti, and then hits the yeti across the chest, and the yeti goes "Oh!" like that as he strikes against the yeti. Hawthorne, it is your turn.
Yeah. So Hawthorne has just freed himself from this yeti, but has seen Harrison go down, or at least he thought it was. It was that he was tripping the other one.
Yeah.
So thinking his new friend is in trouble, he barrels forward and grabs the chip rake, and then swings down at this tripped yeti and may accidentally go into an eye or something with some very bad splatter special effects.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead and give me a, let's say, might or dexterity and close combat.
Dexterity.
Dexterity.
Close combat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
And you do have your equip point as well.
2 + 1 for my equip is 3 successes.
Excellent. So you go ahead and hit, and you go ahead and get an extra stunt as well against this fella yeti.
So for that extra stunt, I would like to take the blind action, and this chip rake comes down right on one of the eyes of this thing, and there's just this cut to Hawthorne's face, horrified, and then just blood.
just obvious blood cannon. Just like shooting pneumatic cannon. Just shoots blood. Yes.
Oh, God.
And the yeti goes, you hear the stock yeti effects. They go, yes. Amazing. All right, we're back to Francesca. Oh, you were software muted.
Here we go. I go right after this yeti that's taunting me.
Excellent. Go ahead and make that might
big
close
and easily
combat.
goaded.
Yeah, easily goaded, yes.
You said might and...
yes, might and... let's do might and close combat, if you're using your knife.
Yes. Oh boy, this is much better. Okay, so 3. So 4 successes.
4 successes. Okay, so you do hit, and you get to do 2 stunts. So you can do 2 extra damage, or you can do a knockdown and a blind, or a disarm, anything like that. Pin down, a grapple.
I'd like to do extra damage, and what I would like to do is rip the yeti's own arm off and use that against it. Be like, we're even now.
You get in the knife fight stance, the CQC, Metal Gear Solid, Solid Snake, and you do a couple of slashes, and the yeti uses Mortabella's arm against it, and you go, "That's not your arm," and you block the arm, and then you hit his arm in the elbow, so it does a very whah, like that, and it's very exaggerated as you break his arm, and then you he drops Mr. Mortabella's arm, and then you do a flourish and cut off his own arm, and then you grab it and take it, and you smack him. We're gonna say just for flourish, smack him towards the edge, close to the edge where there's like a cliffside. I didn't mention it before because we didn't see it before, but we're cutting to now where there's a cliffside here. It's very dramatic. And you see Mr. Gersh run out and he goes, no, don't harm them. This could be a money-making opportunity. And then you smack the Yeti one more time and the Yeti crashes into him. Like the Yeti starts to topple over and they both grab each other. And Francesca, you grab the coat so you're holding these two, the Harold and the Yeti that's being held on by the coat, and the Yeti's looks at you and like has like this soft, tender look, and it's obviously a mask eye, almost like enemies to lovers, almost enemies to lovers moment as he's holding Harold, and Harold's going, help me, I can make you rich. What are you doing?
So I'm holding the coat and which is holding the Yeti.
The Yeti has one arm in it dramatically, who is holding Harold, who's hanging off the cliff dramatically.
Okay, so I'm holding the coat, which is holding the Yeti, who is holding Harold.
Harold, yes.
Okay. I'll get down on my knees and hold a hand out to Harold to be like, come on, make it quick.
Come on, make it quick. All right, and we'll get to Harold. Since I've introduced Harold into the battlefield, we'll get to his turn and see if he can make it work. Next is the professor.
Well, I think they're definitely real. I think I was trying to approach this from a scientific perspective. I thought, let's hang back, but I realized we're in the shit now. It's real. It's going down. And one of them is throwing shit at me. So I'm going to attempt to run at the one throwing stuff at me, but in a zigzag motion.
Okay.
So it misses me, and I'm just going to try to jump and stake it in the brain.
Amazing. Go ahead and give me an athletics and close combat roll, please.
All right, you got it. And I don't have any of those. Yeah, no, I didn't. Nothing.
Oh, you got nothing? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a moment where you run and you dodge and rocks are hitting the snow at your feet, and you run and you leap on to stab this thing. You bring a stabbing motion down, and it catches you almost like it's Dirty Dancing, like the hold up, and it's you. And there's this picturesque moment of you holding a stake, and the Yeti holding you up, and that is where we're going to leave you for your next action, Inspector Loop.
Inspector Loop is going to pull out the large iron manacles he keeps on himself for professional reasons, and is going to attempt to secure the Yeti that he's knocked over.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go ahead and give me what we're we gonna do with this. Go ahead and give me a presence and command roll, please.
Let's see here. Presence, command. 2 successes.
2 successes. You grab the Yeti's wrist that you've bonked over the head. You slap one end of the manacles over to him, and there was a tree that wasn't there before, and you clap the manacles around that tree so that he's handcuffed, and then into his other hand, so he's handcuffed to the tree. And what else?
And as I'm doing this, I'm slightly monologuing, saying, murder by Yeti. It seems preposterous, and yet, as I've always said, if you shovel away all the bullshit, whatever remains, no matter how stinky, must be the truth.
Take equip dice for your next roll. Okay, we're doing this. All right, amazing. Okay, monologuing, amazing. Next is the Yeti. Okay, so. Oh, goodness. All right, I've got a blind Yeti, and I've got one that's been pinned down. Okay, so he's got to make a pin down roll. He does not, and he tries to push against Harrison, and Harrison punches him one time, and rabbit punches him one time in the face, and you hear a, oh, shit, behind the mask. The next Yeti is like on the ground writhing, and he's going to try to grab you, Hawthorne. Go ahead and give me a dexterity. Either dexterity and survival or dexterity and athletics, whichever you prefer.
Athletics.
Perfect.
And 10s explode.
Mm-hmm.
2 successes.
2 successes. Go ahead and roll for him. He whiffs you. You've got him right where you need him. You've blinded this Yeti. We cut back to where it's the mask, and there's an obvious fake eyeball hanging out, and there's paint, and he's trying to grab you, and you hop over his arm, and you've gotten the upper hand of this Yeti right where you want him. Just because it's funny, we've got Mr. Gersh here. Mr. Gersh is going to try to take your hand. Okay. He goes and he manages to grab your hand. So you now have Mr. Gersh in one hand, the coat in the other hand that is in the arm of this Yeti. Y'all have somehow made a ring around the rosy kind of circle on the edge of this cliff. The Yeti is going to try to tug you both down. Go ahead and give me an athletics and might roll, please. And I'll roll for Gersh.
Uh, 3 successes.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add to your writer's pool. Because Mr. Gersh botched. So what happens is, you have Mr. Gersh in one hand. The Yeti is trying to pull you both down. And he doesn't realize that what he has is just the coat that's on his sleeve. And you pull the coat off, so there's just nothing but a Yeti on the edge of this cliff, and he loses his grip, and he starts to fall, and he goes, "Roar!" and he falls, and then Gersh goes, "Oh, geez, thanks. You really saved me, kids. Oh, goodness." And then, and then you see the Yeti has grabbed his belt and pulls him off the edge of the cliff as Gersh goes over, and then you see obvious, like, crash test dummies falling off the edge of the cliff. Yeah, like a crash test, like, the Yeti's just like, "No!" with the ground falling behind, and then crash test dummy hits the ground, and then just a little red confetti.
I'm gonna put the coat on, and I'm just gonna like do one of these and be like, "Bada bing, bada boo."
And that's a quip. That is a quip. So take your extra quip dice. Amazing. All right, fantastic. Okie dokie. Harrison stands over this Yeti, and in like a moment of like, oh no, he's gone out back. He's gone out back, and you see him say, "I'm not," and he takes the ice pick to the Yeti, and each word he hits the Yeti, he goes, "I'm not going back to the dingo farm, father." And then just like leaves the ice pick in the Yeti, and he goes, and just like looks at you. Hawthorne, what are you doing?
So it was only the one Yeti, right?
Yeah, you got the blind Yeti. You've got the one Yeti that he just brutally murdered. And there's another Yeti that's just standing there, just like looking at his brethren being massacred by these 2 men.
Got it. So while this is happening, for my turn, I would actually like to use a cinematic from the writer's pool.
Perfect.
So he looks down at the rake that he had blinded the Yeti with, and as he examines it closer, he can see that the wood is actually segmented, and he goes, "Oh, of course. As you know, Yeti are weak to bamboo." And you look closer at the eye hole, and it's like sizzling from where it was stabbed with this thing.
Amazing. So you're going to use 1 point. That means y'all are back down to 4. Yeah, back down to 4. Right, just whatever. I could have just put WP. Back down to 4, and you use as you know. So now you have given, you have said this to Harrison, so you've made it true in this movie that Yetis have a weakness to bamboo. And that gives you a +1 enhancement for future use against these Yetis.
And then I rush forward to stab this other one.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me that roll there with your +1.
Yay.
And that's going to be dexterity and close combat.
Got it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, and 2 successes with that plus.
2 successes. No extra stunts, but you go ahead and you stab this one right in the chest. And I'm just going to say for dramatic flair, as you stab it with this bamboo, like, rake, this chip rake, you see the Yeti, the guy in the Yeti suit go, oh, 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 and then it just goes down, falls to his knees, and goes, oh, oh, and he falls down, oh, and then, oh, dead. And then Harrison turns and looks at you and goes, I can see that instead of choosing to stand, you decided to hit instead.
I think I'm gonna go into the bamboo business.
Okay, let's cut back to Francesca. Wait, okay, let me go take stock. Okay, so we've got one manacled, we've got one that has fallen off the cliff. The other 3 are taken care of. We just have the one that is holding up Professor Torblatt in that Dirty Dancing pose. Francesca, it is your turn. What are you doing?
I'm gonna turn around, and our movements are a little awkward. This is very much like Big Lady in a little coat, because the Don was pretty small. And I'm gonna see the professor and be like, Professor, you okay up there? Is that where you want to be?
The professor can't really hear Francesca because the professor looks down and looks into the eyes of the Yeti, and you can see the Yeti reflected in the professor's eyes, and the professor just goes, you are not just creatures of supernatural and fantasy. You are beautiful living things.
Go ahead and give me a presence, and I will say a presence and empathy roll, please.
Presents. Oh, well, I got good presents. Empathy. Okay, here we go. Make this a good one. 3.
There's a moment. Everything stops. The wind stops. The music stops. Everyone's frozen in time, and all you do is you see this Yeti looking at you, Professor. And slowly, it sets you down, steps back and goes, finally, someone can truly see us for what we are. Not monsters, but actually noble creatures that dwell in this wood. You do not know how hard it is to be a Swiss goat farmer.
A single tear just kind of comes down my eye, and I reach out and I stroke its cheek and I go, everything's going to be okay now.
I thank you for your kindness and your empathy. It is time that we go. We have caused you enough pain. And he looks around and realizes that most of his brethren are dead, and looks at the one that's arrested and goes, well, he was arrested for murder, so due process must be given. We do respect the law around here, so as you can see, I'm just going to go now, so if you don't mind. And he goes, thank you so much for understanding. I apologize. And there's a...
Wait, take me with you.
And the Yeti stops and goes, wait, you truly wish to see our civilization?
It's all I've ever wanted.
You know what this means. Once you go with us, you can never go back.
I turn around and I look and I see I see Francesca in that small coat, and I see everybody covered in blood with like poker sticks and the train, and I just go, "That's okay."
And he extends your hand, and he takes your hand, Professor Torblatt, and you start walking towards the tree line, which is just like a curtain that's been painted with a tree line on it, and it parts for you, and there's a smoke machine, and you both walk through it, and the smoke machine kind of drifts up, leaving the rest of you there, just breathing, sweaty, covered in Yeti blood. You have a perp here that you've arrested. What do you do now?
I think Francesca will walk up next to Inspect and say, "Well, I guess there's no accounting for taste.
Indeed.
So we're gonna kill this one too?"
No.
No.
This one will face justice.
Well, where I'm from, Mr. Mortadella had his own, definition of justice. So.
And as you two are having this conversation, you hear in the background, "Ah!" And Hawthorne comes up and just stabs him with the bamboo.
Yeah, like that. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
They're weak to bamboo. Stab.
You just see the Yeti, and it just slumps over on the tree.
Please not the suit. Please not the suit. That's also equipped.
Oh my God! Hey, got one right there. Perfect. So now we are going to do something great. With this, I'm going to allow each of you to give a bit of an epilogue, and I will tie them all together to give one final epilogue for Blood on the Rails. So let's go ahead and let's start with Francesca Donatelli.
All right, so Francesca is, she's able to recover the arm and the coat and avenge Mr. Mortabella's death. I think when she gets back home to the family, I think they're very impressed with her, and she becomes Donatelli.
Donna Donatelli, head of the Donatelli crime family, and also the new owner.
They try to find an even bigger lady to be her.
Yeah, to be her. Yeah. You got Puttanesca Donatelli. It's your cousin from Sicily, Puttanesca
Yes.
Donatelli. And you're also the legitimate owner of a legitimized sausage business franchise. It's very popular. It's across the whole tri-state area. Next, we have Hawthorne J. Hawthorne.
Yeah, well, luckily, after everything was said and done, he sort of realized a new business opportunity and a new love opportunity. So Harrison and Hawthorne actually end up together, opening up self-defense schools across the country. Combination self-defense and casino.
And there's also a rock climbing wall as well.
Yeah, exactly. No dingoes allowed.
No dingoes allowed. Amazing.
That's the name of the whole thing.
I love it. All right, and then Inspector Loop. What is in the cards for Inspector Loop?
Inspector Loop is writing his case notes in his journal, which are VO'd, and he ends on a postscript. The bloodied snowscape reminded me of my youth. I took a trip with friends for recreational cross-country skiing. There were no survivors. And he looks into the camera, which zooms in on his face and just holds there for a really awkwardly long time, because that's supposed to be a segue to a flashback sequence that was never filmed.
And last but certainly not least, we have Professor Torblatt.
So you see Professor sitting in a cave by candlelight, and she is also writing, and there's like a voiceover, and she says, "It has been years since I left humanity. I can't ever imagine going back." And she looks up, and in the corner you see the little Yeti sitting there, and she continues writing, and the voiceover continues, and she says, "Life has been quiet with Donald, but it's been peaceful and full of love and peace. We have our own life now. It's perfect." And then she looks up, and you see a crib, and the camera pans over this crib, and inside the crib is this really gross, half human, half Yeti baby.
It's where all the special effects budget went to, was making this baby. Like, the director was like, yes, this is my crowning achievement. This is what's gonna break the business for me.
Sequel coming soon.
The camera pans up, and you see, going through the Swiss Alps, this is also where a lot more of the budget went through. They used a model train for the rest of this, but this is an actual train going through, and it pans along the side, and you see, covering the former Alpine Express sign, is the Germain Express. And then you see Mona Germain sitting in like the new sauna car of the Germain Express, and she just starts laughing, ha 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 ha, and it cuts through the rest of the train, and we see the caboose, and underneath the caboose you see a very wild and beaten up Harold Gresh doing a Cape Fear in the bottom of the train, and he starts laughing too, and then you see the end. Or is it? And then the credits start to roll. I would like to thank everyone for joining in on this wonderful, wonderful cinematic masterpiece. P.T. Anderson, eat your heart out. We've got a little bit of time here. These games go pretty quickly. The one-shots go pretty quickly. So I want to take the time to allow my wonderful cast here to go one by one and talk about different things they have coming up for this event or for other events, where they can find you, things that they should look out for. Do a little cut a promo, as we say in the wrestling biz. And let's go in reverse order from how we've been doing almost everything, and let's start with Shane.
Hey, thank you so much, Wes. This was so much fun. Oh my gosh. I had like my popcorn going. I was just super into it, eating my popcorn, like forgetting that I was in the movie too. I was just like enjoying it. But yeah, well, I'm Shane Easton, and I am going to be on Josephine's Eclipse TTRPG show on Friday as a guest. And also I am studying philosophy and Shakespeare right now in Los Angeles. I study with the Independent Shakespeare Company. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully someday I can be playing once again with my LA by Night family, hoping we can come back someday soon. Yeah, I love playing tabletop games, and I love theater, and you can follow me on Twitter at a slight sprite to see anything else that I might be up to. So thank you.
Excellent. And Joshua?
Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Deitch again, and yeah, you can find me at Joshua Deitch right under my camera on Twitter, and that should have a link to my website as well. But yeah, more writing coming out through Onyx Path from me, including from They Came From Beyond the Grave, some Vampire the Masquerade stuff, Pugmire Squeaks in the Dark, which I believe is being played during the convention.
Yes.
And some other goodies. But yeah, hit me up anytime.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Josh. All right, and then Xander.
Yeah, I'm Xander Jeanneret. My main hub is Twitter, so you can follow me at Xanderific with 2 R's and 1 F. I also stream on my personal channel here on Twitch. We've been playing through the BioShock series, which I know Shane is a fan of, especially. It's been a while since I've played through them, and there you go.
Yep.
The chain tattoos.
Yeah, the chain tattoos, yep.
Right? And it's been fun to sort of rediscover. We're doing BioShock 2 right now and playing through the series. And then Tuesdays we're playing through the new werewolf game that just came out. So that's been a lot of fun. Earthblood. It's so much blood everywhere. For tabletop RPGs, Monday nights I play Star Trek on Q Times. We've had a long-running show over there. It's called Clear Skies. On Wednesday, I just finished a show with Paizo, where we played through the beginner box of Pathfinder, the newest edition, called Troubles in Otari. And we're going to be taking that slot and doing some other things in that. So maybe some Starfinder and some more Pathfinder. And then finally, Friday nights, I'm over on Pixel Circus for a show called Failed Save. And that one we like to call fun D&D, where we have fun in character moments, but really we're goofing around, and the chat can donate to make things happen, and things happen.
Excellent. I think I'd love to run this game kind of like in that same kind of format, where it's like,
Right.
set up a charity stream, and then if you make a certain donation or anything like that, then
It's a fun format.
Yeah, have
Excellent.
the audience the chat give the quips, and then we have to figure out how to work them in.
Oh,
Good.
Excellent. Yeah.
that's something. Hey, that's something for you to research there later. Yeah, that's a free one for you, Xander. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. All right, and last but certainly not least, our very own Stephanie.
Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie Allen. As I said, I'm one half of Charm Person Games. We're a queer women-owned professional game master for hire service based out of Baltimore. You can find us on the internet at charmpersongames.com. Also on Twitter at charmpersongame, because Twitter has character limits, we've discovered. You can find us there. I am on Gehenna Gaming's Twitch channel Monday nights playing Monster Hearts, where I play Krina the Fae, which is a very different character than Francesca. She's exceptionally tiny, so you can catch me over there. We also, my business partner and I, Natalie, we are launching a new show next weekend right here on Carrion Comfort called Adventures Unknown, where we travel from Twitch channel to Twitch channel every month playing 2 new indie RPG games with a rotating and recurring cast. So we'll be kicking it off next weekend right here with Black Hearts, which is a Carly Rae Jepsen inspired game, and Vampire Block Party, which I am stoked to be running. And then we'll be off the table the month after, and then back to Gehenna Gaming. If you are interested in hosting Adventures Unknown, reach out to us. If you want to play at Adventures Unknown, reach out to us. If you have a game that you think we should run, maybe even a game you wrote, reach out to us. And additionally, on top of that, I will be, once Gehenna Valley's Monster Hearts campaign wraps up on Gehenna Gaming, we're going to be starting a new Monster Hearts campaign here on Carrion Comfort for Carrion Comfort County High. There we go. I keep getting the acronym mixed out. And I'll be playing in that one as well. And then beyond that, you can just catch me on random streams all over the place.
Excellent. Thank you all so very much. Make sure you follow these wonderful people, and more than follow, go ahead and throw some support their way. Go ahead and they're all doing excellent stuff. As you can tell, they're doing wonderful, awesome stuff. If you like what you see, you want to see more of it, go ahead and check them out, and go ahead and give some support around if you can, if you're able to do that. And always, never forget, if you don't have the cash for it, signal boosting is free. It's always good to spread the word around, especially in times like these. So on top of that, I'm going to do a little bit of a promo. I would like to thank Gehenna Gaming, Astral Tabletop, Drive-Thru RPG, the Vajra Group, or the Vajra Tabletop, Bodana Group, Charm Person Games, Darker Days Radio, Savage Sparrow, all the phenomenal sponsors and artists and everyone that is running games here that you don't see on stream. I'd like to thank all those game masters. You're doing a wonderful job. I hope that you're having a wonderful time. All the people that are running workshops, all the people that are participating in workshops, all the people that are participating in panels, all the people that are participating in actual play streams. Thank you so much. This has been a whirlwind weekend, and I'm so glad that we were able to get it off the ground. Things were able to get going, and it's happening. If you like Silent Hill, if you're a fan of Silent Hill and Cult Divinity Lost, the next program that will be coming on in about an hour is going to be Cult Divinity Lost, set in the Silent Hill universe, run by Gehenna Gaming's very own Marchosius, starring Rachel Lindman, Super Rat Lord, and Rick Wheeler, or Oops All Set Type, from Gehenna Gaming. I know I'm going to be there because I'm going to be producing it, so I'll be in the technician's chair, so I've got to work through a lot of technical stuff here for that. So check that out. There's also another Spotlight game happening. I think it's the Magnus Archives games happening. And we have a lot more games happening tomorrow. The schedule is at virtualhorrorcon.com. You can hit that. I've got the little fancy little command here. Boom. Also, we're not just doing this to pay our game masters and covering costs for anything like that. This is also a charitable event. And you can see below us, we have a bar where we are raising donations for not only Black Girls Code, but there's also a link in this command here as well. You can hit it all weekend and all across all our channels. Donate, where you can make a donation. I double tapped that. Boom. There we go. You can hit those links, and if you have anything to give, anything you want to pay it forward, do please feel free to make a donation. We really do appreciate it, and I'm sure that these two groups would appreciate it as well. And like I said before, if you can't, that's perfectly fine. Signal boosting is always good alternative to that as well. Coming up this next week, I'm going to be taking a break, but we do have Kingdom Hearts: The Interstitial War that's happening this Friday. It is a Kingdom Hearts game. It's a tabletop RPG using the interstitial system that is set in the universe of Kingdom Hearts. I get a gray hair for every episode that happens because I'm worried that we're going to get a cease and desist or a DMCA strike, and it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. It's amazing, but it's run by Nick Francia. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. Check it out. And then, like Stephanie said, Saturday and Sunday, the 27th, 28th, we have Adventures Unknown with Vampire Block Party and a very, very game I'm excited to play that I'm in called Blackheart, which is the Carly Rae Jepsen tabletop RPG. So I'm excited about that. Keep your eyes peeled for more games. Also, I'm going to keep on cutting a promo. We have a Patreon, we have a Discord, we have a YouTube. There's so much stuff happening. So if you liked what you saw here tonight and you want to see more of it, then please do check out our YouTube. Do please check out our Discord server. We've got around 100 members. We're all interacting with each other. We're running some games. There's talks about people running games in the server as well. So is that something you're interested in? You want to get to know some people? We hang out and voice channel and we play Valheim together. If that's something that you're into, check it out, please. We're also having auditions open for Heart, the City Beneath. If you like Darkest Dungeons and you want to play in Heart, the City Beneath, then please do hit up those applications. They will be on the Twitter. They'll be the pinned tweet. That is all I'm going to say now. I'm taking up the time. I'm running out of breath. Jeez. Okay, we're good. I padded for time.
Days, y'all.
I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Someone help me out. Someone help me out. Oh, jeez, is it hot in here? Is it hot in here for anybody else?
2 games on your show next weekend.
Yeah,
what else do you want me to do for you,
Wesley? 2 games on my show. That's correct. All right. Well, that is it for me. That is it for these lovely people. Do follow them below. You can follow me below at the hashtags. There's things you can click on down below. Check them out. Care for each other. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Take your meds. Take your water. Reach out to people. Be there for people that reach out if you can. If you've got the spoons, practice spoon theory daily. And do not forget, comfort comes soon. Have a very happy virtual horror con. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.